At the mesa of a mountain, in the land of trickery, we find a forest. Withered trees of dull green and brown packed tightly to paint the scene as a thick fog rolls outward and down the cliff sides. A sad state for a forest, but a perfect place for a hideout. Beyond the fog, beyond the trees, beyond the illusions, we see a lush forest teeming with life, leading to a village brimming with energy. As the organization responsible for monitoring magical anomalies and fighting back against the corruption of magic, the clan of Cauldareen won't be caught sleeping. We see teams of agents returning to base via the teleportation circles on the outskirts of the village. Robotic creatures crawl the treetops of the deceiving forest, monitoring those permitted. And we find the new recruits to the clan of Cauldareen hard at work on their next mission.
Hello, I'm Myri Chanel. I play Brutus, the human paladin. Do you consider
Hello.
yourself a warrior?
Hi, my name is Mustafa, and so I gotta say it twice, and I play Tear, the ASMR Fallen Star Druid. It did hurt when I fell from heavens. Thank you for asking.
Hello. My name is Grim Songbird, and I'm going to be playing Hiccup, the lizard folk wild magic sorcerer. I'm sorry, what does that say? I can't read.
Hi, I'm Amelia Psalm, and I am playing Terex, the Drow Blood Hunter. No, I won't be doing that.
Hi, I'm Ivy, and I'll be playing Ruby, the Fire Genasi Rogue. What do you mean, bread squishes?
Last time on the Cauldareen Chronicles, we see Team 10 shaken after a run-in with their target. What's scarier than possibly blowing your cover? Having to tell your leader you did it.
Listen, Ruby, so it wasn't anybody's fault. I want to say that first. But
What did you do?
The team explores the streets of Gimdry in search of food, weapons, and information.
So, this is called a bread squish.
I don't really get the appeal.
The ding of a bell, the glisten of armor and jewels, a pair of black daggers. Welcome to Oten's, Hosnet Oten at your service. Morning dawns, and with it comes the message. Hey y'all, we've got a problem. They've moved up the timetable. A trip across town, a door that leads to nowhere, and an underground fight club. What a perfect way to start things up. Next up, we have fight number 4. A foot buries itself into Tear's chest, and a two-headed dog lashes at the fallen prey. Bennett has made an appearance.
You're not the only beast around, and I wild shape into a giant wild bear.
It seems we meet again, my dear. Hosnet Oten at your service.
and what brings you here?
Business usually, but it's always a pleasure. A trio victorious, a half-orc impressed, and a tense exchange of words.
You can push me around, but if you touch my friends again, I might get a little hostile.
Perhaps we got off on the wrong foot. Stick around and you might just like the show. A half-orc summons his battle axe to the field. A horde of creatures swarm. A fireball descends and their target stands amongst the rubble. Tattoos and wounds alike fading away. A display that would chill most warriors to the bone. But Team 10 presses on, because these are the next defenders of this land. These are the Cauldareen Chronicles. And you're all watching as Bennett shrugs off the damage, now finally healing as that final tattoo in the palm of his hand went off. And he seems to heal up. Brutus, Tear, and Hiccup are up on the edge of up on the edge of the ring as he begins to make his way over. And you hear the announcer, "Oh, what an excellent display. Perhaps they'll have something for me later.
I hold
You
my
saw-
hand out to help him up.
Yes, and as Bennett makes his way, he starts climbing up the ladder, and you hold your hand out, and he looks up, and he reaches up, and he takes it,
I'm gonna pull him up.
and you help him up the rest of the way. And again, he summons his battle axe to him from out there on the field, and you see it dissipate as people are cleaning the remnants of what was left on the field away. And he looks to you all and says, "So how did you like the show?"
I'm impressed.
Well,
I think the credit goes to the person who gave you those neat tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
perhaps it does. Perhaps they're one and the same. One can never really tell.
Insight check. Did he do the tattoos?
Yeah, you
I'm
can
not-
definitely roll.
I'm not good at insight. Let's
Okay.
go.
Yeah, make a roll.
We love to hear.
Oh, it rolled behind my mug. We'll have to reveal it. 16, actually.
Ooh.
Better than I thought it
Ooh.
would be.
Yeah, so he, with an insight check, that's something that he didn't say he did, he didn't say he didn't. So it's hard to pick up if he's lying or not. But
Got
as
it.
far as what he said about it, it was very nonchalant. Like it was more about perhaps discrediting his battle ability. And that was a stall, a stone wall to that. More less than it was an answer to whether or not he made the tattoos.
Cool. Okay.
But I will say they come in quite handy.
Yeah. Maybe we can talk about those tattoos more over some drinks or something, in case I might be a little interested in seeing what's shopping to do for that.
So, a warrior of business.
Sure.
Now, what would someone like you want with something so dangerous?
Well, here's the thing. I'm a little used to dangerous. So, just want to see if it could be anything new for me. See how fast I can adapt to something like that.
And what of you? You seem to already come with tattoo. As he looks at Tear.
I don't know if those are the same thing. Those are, I'd say, more of a map to the stars than anything else.
Well, I suppose these can be a map to just about anywhere. And he flashes one more tattoo that's on his forearm.
I bet
Hmm.
it's power
Can
word
I make
kill
an
tattoo.
Can I make an Arcana check to see if I can identify what it could do? I know that's a long shot, but
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you can always
Okay.
try to make a check.
that's a nat 1. I have
Yeah,
no
Yeah.
idea.
You are just like, that's not
I
a
can-
birthmark, you know?
Like I can't read.
Well, perhaps there's something to talk about. Now we're gonna jump across over to we're gonna jump to Terex. And you're sitting there with Harsnet Oten, the half-elf who has been enjoying the game. Or the match.
Right. I forget where we left off in conversation. I think it was like,
So
yeah.
it seems that was indeed quite a performance. I'll have to keep an eye on that.
Yes. How many rounds fights do they usually have? Yeah. I'm gonna kind of look around to see if I can see where my party members are going.
So make a perception check real quick. I mean, you've been like watching and keeping an eye, but I just kind of want to see what it is that you take in right here.
That's a fat 12.
Okay. So yeah, it's not a hard check, but it's also like you're not pinpointing anything. You clocked where Ruby was over there on the other side of the arena. You clocked that your teammates climbed up, but they never fully went in. They watched the fight just like you did, and now you see Bennett was helped up by one of them and is conversing with them at a distance. So at the very least, that's what you see.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I boring you?
No. I was just. You mentioned, something after the time we had. I should probably tell my friends where I'm going elsewhere. So, like an after party or something like that. Top secret meetings.
There's certainly always something to get up to.
Like to tag along a bit. Be good at getting into trouble. Very entertaining trouble, though.
Well, I am one for a party, and entertaining is my sort of game.
Maybe we could talk about those tattoos. Are there like people going around serving like drinks or food?
Yeah, there are some people coming around, definitely, and they're passing off stuff to certain tables, and you see that he has like one, and during the course of this, he might have flagged, someone with a motion, and they are coming over with a refill for his drink now.
Oh, can I get one as well?
Put it on my tab.
God, damn pandemic. Ugh. Yeah, and perhaps as we're waiting, you mentioned you knew something about those tattoos, mentioned change of something. Wondering what that might look like.
Well, as you can see, someone knows a little bit more about them than me. But I will say, they are a rather exciting new addition to the market. But the rest of that information just doesn't seem to be jogging my memory just yet.
Oh, nothing's jogging your memory. How does one jog your memory? How do we exercise that?
Well, it never hurts. Hold a little gold in your hand. That often strikes minds, but sometimes an even trade. Information for information is always just as good. Unless you had something else in mind.
I mean, what sort of information are you looking for?
Well, I'd certainly love to know who you are, my dear. I mean, I've told you my name, but I don't believe I've actually gotten yours.
Eric's niece.
Ah. Well, it is a pleasure. I'll trade you a name for a name, then. You gave me your name as your payment, then allow my payments to be Alter Motif. The little gentleman over there. And you'll recognize this name as your target, Altair, as he has just named him. While the big fella might be the one handling the display, Altair over there handles the distribution, as it were. I'll be seeing you, Tarek's niece. And he stands up and he leaves a couple coins on the table. And he motions towards one of the people walking by, who they bow to him, and he walks away. And two people flank him as he leaves the area.
Mm-hmm. I just want to take a good look at the people who are around him, just to like memorize them for later.
Yes. So as he is a half elf, you see a human walking alongside him, and you see a woman with long brown hair in a braid, and some armor over her. She's wearing a suit of armor, and as she walks out, she looks back and makes eye contact with you, and seems to be doing the exact same thing, of taking note of you.
Finger wave.
And she turns, and they leave.
Okay.
So let's jump from here over to Ruby. Ruby, you're standing off on the side, and I want you to make a perception check because you were within earshot of Altair last time.
And too bad. 13. 12 plus 1.
Okay. So with a 13, you are still standing where you were, and you hear them talking a little bit, and this is your perception. It was 13, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you hear Altair speaking to whoever this is, and you had glanced over and saw a woman in some very fashionable robe, and they're talking, but you can't quite make it out. But at this point, they have kind of nodded an agreement, and he stands up and says, well, shall we? And he begins to walk off. And she says, it'll be just a moment. And then she begins to gather up some things, and but he seems to be waiting on her for them to depart.
I very nonchalantly, like almost like I'm just looking around for somebody else, kind of look around and make a note of what she looks like.
Yeah.
I don't want her to think I'm deliberately like studying her.
So this is going to be, I'll let you look at her, but this is going to be a stealth check.
Sure.
Yeah, I want a stealth check to determine whether or not this
I
sort
can
of
do that.
moment is acknowledged.
As I just throw my dice off my desk. Yeah, that's a 13 plus 5, so 18.
Yeah, you're able to get a good look at this woman. And yeah, you turn over, and she is a medium height woman, about 5'8" or so, and she has blonde hair, short blonde hair. She's wearing a so her robes have a insignia on it, on the front, and there's a cross with a circle around it on the outsides of it. So you got a plus sign with a circle.
Me making a mental note of that. Cool.
And that is about what you've got. She seems to be in her 20s or so, what you'd figure for a human.
Okay. I'm gonna kind of turn my attention back to looking at the field or looking around for anything else that might look strange, making it look like I'm looking for somebody else. That way they don't get suspicious of me. Waiting for my other friends to come up from their arena.
Okay, so we'll jump back to your trio there as you're with Bennett there, and he's just talked a little bit with you about the tattoos.
Just chit chat, just like, who's your
Small
artist?
talk.
Like, tattooed people
Sick.
always want to talk about their artist.
Sick ink. Where'd you get it?
Well,
Cool tats, fellow ne'er-do-well.
Great ink. Looking to get some myself.
I'll
That's not in
admit,
character. Brutus is not that awkward.
while I admit I may not be the artist, I could perhaps be the messenger. For a fee, I could take you to inspect and see what we could get for you yourself.
What's the fee?
Well, it would be bad business to just tell you. How badly do you want to see it?
We're
think-
interested.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're
sorry, Tara.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just interested. I think we can manage on our own as of right now. But it'd be nice to know what's out there.
Well, perhaps it would. And he stands there for a moment, and he just looks you three over, and he waits.
I'd say, what? I think we're in 50 gold of a hurry.
And so does Tear hand him 50 gold, or at least does he say that?
I do say that, yes.
Now, that sounds like a hurry.
Hmm.
Perhaps I could happily be your guide today. I knew we
Yar.
got off on the wrong foot.
That's.
yeah.
I mean, technically, it was the left.
It
foot,
was
So I guess that's.
Left foot to the chest, yeah.
yeah, that's kind of the wrong foot there.
But we are unfamiliar with the city, so. Tour guide?
Well then, follow me. Now, weren't there more of you? There was one more, yes?
Oh,
Yes.
she is spectating today.
Not much of a fighter.
I don't think today was a fighting day for her.
She put on
Yeah.
a really pretty outfit,
Yeah.
so you know.
Well, I'm sure it'll be admired where we're going. And he turns and he starts walking up the stairs out from the fighter pit, from the back arena area. And this is leading up back towards the crowd. Let's jump over to Terex now again. So Harsnet Oten has just left. And you are now you're now sitting there by yourself. What are you doing?
I'm gonna see if I can get eyes on Ruby.
Okay. Yeah, you've been able to track Ruby the whole time.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can see Ruby. And because he was pointed out to you, I'm going to say that you saw Altair get up and move. He is still standing there, and this woman now stands up and comes to join him. And so you got eyes on Ruby, and you can see that this woman has now joined Altair kind of behind Ruby as they're heading to, it's a circular setup for the arena, and they are now kind of heading towards the other end.
Yeah, I'm going to just very casually sort of line toward Ruby.
Okay. Yeah, and there's no reason for you not to be able to get over to Ruby, so go right ahead. And
Since I've been playing up the whole time, I'm a guard for this group of individuals. I'll kind of nod a little, almost a little too ceremoniously to pull that off.
You know, you're really shitty at your job. Someone could have murdered me so many times. Walk from there to here.
Oh, I'm sure they wouldn't have even gotten close.
So, I was talking to our new friend, and he mentioned that Altair is the distributor to connect with for.
Seemed very interested in you.
How that effect? Very. I
Mhm.
feel like, well, you know, I'm kind of conflicted. You know, he's fine, but I don't know if, you know, maybe he's cool to brothers who are like here. Maybe I could,
Right,
you
right,
know,
right.
He's nice though. He's nice. Yeah. So what are we doing? Are we approaching him? Does he hate us? I don't hate us, but I don't think think Bennett hates them anymore. They seem, they're talking.
Chummy.
Hmm?
They seem chummy. They seem friendly. I don't know what they're doing. I don't
Just want to ask.
guess.
Would-
I'll t-
We shouldn't get the magic tattoos, right? We shouldn't.
Probably not. I don't feel like Cauldareen would really appreciate that if we went and got tattoos from somebody else. That's copying their knowledge.
I think it might, but we could, use that like research.
Right. Research.
Do we want to bridge it together? Do we want to propose? Do you want to say like, hey, friends talking to our friends, heard you got some cool tattoos? Or do we go join up with the others? They seem to be interesting.
Couple of little things here and there, but they seem to be going somewhere. Can I see the other 3 of our party talking to Bennett?
So where they're at now, let's jump over to them to kind of check with that. Hey, thanks for that raid, the Keep RPG.
Yeah.
Welcome on in, folks.
Hey guys.
So let's check how this is going. So Brutus, Pear, and Hiccup. He has just said it'll be interesting. It'll be appreciated, I'm sure, or admired where we're going. And then he started walking away. What are you 3 doing?
I keep pace, even though my legs are much shorter.
Okay.
I am also going to keep pace, though my legs are much longer than Brutus's.
As we start walking as well, I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna look at Bennett and say, "Well, have you tried a bread squoosh before?" Oh my!
A bread squoosh.
You know what? Okay, all right. So I know we said 50 gold. Okay. But how about we make it 50 gold and a bread squoosh?
And he
Just
just
driving
eyes
a
you.
hard bargain.
That's a
Make
hard
a-
bargain.
Make a persuasion check right now.
All right.
I just want to see how this interaction reads to him.
Ooh, okay. So that is a 14 plus, come on, persuasion. Doot. Plus 0. Perfect. So that's a 14.
All right. Like a 14 is decent, but yeah, he's got a 19 here on just a flat roll of. I think we'll stick to the gold. You're not trying to back out now, are you?
Oh no, I just wanted to make sure you had a good time. Okay, so after you show us everything, you should still try the bread squoosh, though. It'll change your life.
If you trust nothing else, trust that Tear is genuine.
Twinkle's a nice fellow, if I do say so myself. And just give him a playful nudge with his elbow.
And he looks at you 3 and just says, huh, I'll keep it in mind. And he keeps walking up the stairs. And at this point, you asked if you could see the 3 of them. They are now coming out of a tunnel. The stairs, when they climbed up their ladder and got out of the arena, that put them in a little prep area that you could see into, but the farther in they go, you start to lose sight of them. They went up the stairs and now they are coming out on your side of the arena. And they are following Bennett.
Seeing Bennett, I'm immediately going to pick up that persona again of very much I'm just a guard, and kind of square my shoulders and have a hand at my side.
Cool.
And nod to Terex that in the direction of Bennett as our party follows.
Okay. And are you staying put or?
I'm going to follow whatever Terek's lead is. And so I
Okay.
want to keep up the persona of, I'm
Be in her guard.
nobody.
Yeah, I'm going to approach. Touch eye contact. Everyone.
I'll
Cool.
follow just a couple of steps behind at your hip.
Cool. And when you get there, well, yeah, you approach. Bennett is walking, and the three of them are right on his heels. So play this out for me.
Well, there you are. Hey, so we might get a tour. I mean, we are going to get a tour.
Yeah.
Possibly looking into some ink.
Yeah, I heard that Altair is the guy to talk to about that, and I look at Bennett.
And he looks at you, and for a moment he just looks at you, and with a little bit of a quizzical look, summing you up, you'd take. I take it you're the fancy dressed one.
Oh, thank you.
Hmm.
Do it, cut.
It's a fancy dress, right?
And he looks
Has
over at
pockets.
Ruby. What is Ruby decked out in right now for this?
She was still she had played up more on the guard look that she normally wears, just making it look a little more official. Just no sign of an insignia or anything. Just her arm blade wouldn't be on at this point because that's bringing a weapon that's very obvious, but she would have her sword at her hip, and otherwise just her normal shoulder gear, as well as her armored shirt and her black slacks. So almost like a guard off duty.
So he looks at Ruby after saying, so he says to Terex, so you must be the fancy dressed one. And he looks at Ruby and seeing this guard kind of appeal, says, I, for one, prefer someone a little more battle worn. And he nods just at Ruby and turns and kind of continues walking until he gets the last couple of steps up towards where Altair has been patiently waiting. And what does your group do?
Altair.
Have a shot.
Ah, so we meet again.
Yeah,
Curious.
haven't seen you since the Playful Pint. How you doing, buddy?
Yes. Brutus and Hiccup, correct?
Yeah.
Wonderful. It is a pleasure to see you again, and under such interesting circumstances.
Right? Strange coincidence. But after we saw him fight, we just had to know more about the tattoos. Piqued my interest.
And one type of performance is not terribly different from another.
Well, it sounds like luck would have it then. Luck is on your side. Tattoos for everybody. And he turns to the woman now next to him, and she has been looking away and is just kind of looking at something in her hand. And he says, I hope you don't mind us having a little bit of a full house, but Bennett sure loves to bring a party. And she turns around to look at the halfling Altair and says, no bother. I'm simply here for business. I need Myri and Mills to, I need Brutus and Herix to make a perception check with advantage.
With advantage.
Ooh.
Ooh. That is
I
a
know.
nasty, non-natural 20.
Perception.
It was the combination. Ooh.
Okay, my first one was real bad, so let's see how number 2 does.
Fingers crossed.
Less bad, but still bad at a 9.
Okay.
The other one was a 2.
So Brutus doesn't seem to pay any mind. You're a few steps behind everyone, and so you see there's someone ahead of you. But
Right in the
Terex,
backs, yeah.
Terex, you look over as you joined the party. No one's blocking your view. You're at a perfect angle, and as she turns for a brief moment to say that, you see that circle with the cross, and you know it anywhere as the symbol for the order.
Hmm.
Mm.
Didn't see it. It's fine.
And she turns back away.
I don't seem to recognize her though, right?
Make a history check.
Jack. Oh, I'm rolling well tonight. That was an 18 plus 4, 22.
Nope, you do not recognize this person.
Oh, maybe I just never met her.
You-
That's fair.
Yeah, you recognize the outfit, the symbol at least, and you definitely, as soon as you put your minds to it, you go, "Yep, that tracks." But you don't know this one.
Oh,
And
I feel some type of way about that, though.
Bennett says, "So, shall we?" And Altair says, "Oh, of course, always in such a... This one's a party animal." But hey, after something like that, can you blame him? You must be famished, my friend. And Bennett looks at him and says, and just kind of shrugs. So,
Again, he should try the bread squishes.
Everyone should try those in fairness.
Everyone should try those, yes.
So, as they go to leave, they start heading out. And Altair says, "Come along." And they head right on out. As they do, they get up to the top of the arena towards a couple of doors. And Altair reaches forward and opens the door and says, "Right this way."
Right before we go through, I'd like to turn around and see, because I believe Luna was with us. I want to know where she's at, if at all around still.
Yeah, she said she was
make
going to
a-
go investigate, but we have not seen her since.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tear, make a perception check.
Perception. Oh baby, that's a negative, Ghost Rider. All right, so that is a 3 + 7 for a 10.
Okay, yeah, you scan the area and there's still people milling about, and you hear the announcer. "So, after a brief intermission, coming up next, we have fight number 6. And so there's just kind of, they're continuing on. Hydrate check.
Oh, wait. I have a message cantrip. Can I send one to Luna?
Can you see Luna?
That's a very good question. Would I also need to make a perception check to spot her?
You don't have to see people for message. But you do have to know kind of where they are, I think.
Ah,
At least as I remember it.
All right, let's get a quick call on that. You point your finger toward a creature and whisper a message. So you have to at least point your finger at her. So it would be within...
Okay. Could
yeah,
I...
you could cast it through things if you knew for a fact that they're on the other side of that wall. But yeah, if you'd like, Hiccup can make a perception check to look.
Yeah, I would love that. Thank you. Let's see. Perception is +2. Okay. That was cocked. Okay. 21.
Okay.
Jesus.
So looking about, you scan the area and you do see that familiar dress, and you see Luna across the way.
I would like to discreetly send her a message of where we're going.
What do you say in that message?
Following targets to survey tattoos. Invited. Or, sorry, let me rephrase that. Invited by targets to check the tattoo shop.
Okay. And she turns around for a moment and scans the area and then finds your location. And she whispers back, because with message you can hear this in response. You hear her whisper back, "Where?"
I'll tell you where. It's 50 gold away. That's where. Dang.
Just, he's going to respond, 50 gold away, they did not say.
Hiccup, Now, you did just cast a first level spell, right? Oh, no, that's a cantrip. You're
cantrip.
good.
Cantrip.
You're solid.
just I'm just randomly
Oh.
Sturgis.
Just
that would
explode. It's fine.
Fireball.
just spontaneously combust. It's fine. Fine for houseplant.
I would be so pissed. I think I'm done.
Just summon a unicorn, actually. I think that would be the best result.
He's like, yeah, we'd like to get a tattoo for my friend here.
Be safe. I'll monitor. Signal if you need help.
Thank you. Firebolt to the air will be my signal.
Or
Understood.
fireball centered around self.
No.
No!
I heard yes. I heard yes.
Okay, and so Altera said, are we going or?
Question: are there still those like waiter people around? Is there like a shot girl somewhere? You know,
Yeah, there's someone walking by.
I just want to get a shot just to take before we go, calm my nerves a little bit.
And he says, oh, I like that. Party animal. Would you, Hiccup, make a stealth check for me, please?
Okay.
Hiccup. Hiccup.
Yes.
Just nothing. Just hiccup.
Okay. Oh, thank God. Okay, hang on. What's my modifier? +2, 19.
Okay, yeah, you, yeah, you're good. So you take that shot there, Terex, and you've got Altair here holding the door open.
Walk through.
And the rest
On
of
the
you?
heels of Terex.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna follow suit, and whichever party member I make eye contact first, I wink and I send them a message of I informed Luna where we're going.
Roll a stealth check.
Okay. That's fair.
Do you wink with your regular eyelids or like your sideways lizard eyelids?
My sideways lizard eyelid, of course.
Of course.
Of course. And that is a 21 on stealth.
Ah,
Dang.
Okay.
My first nat 1 has been made up for.
So yeah, you
Seriously.
all do you all walk through?
yes.
Okay. And as you do, you step through the doorway, and it's very bright. And as the door shuts, you find yourself in a very active environment. You're inside of a warehouse, and there are tents all around you. And then someone walks through a door to your left and someone to a door to your right. And as you turn around to look at the door you just came through, it is one of many doors beneath a giant statue in an open circle. And all around you, there are people hawking wares and talking to people and passing things out. And Altair says, right this way. Try not to get swindled while we're here. That's my job. And he leads the walk.
Dang. Now I really want to get swindled. Fuck.
Everyone
No twinkle.
make a history check.
Swindle check.
Swindle check.
Swindle check.
Check for
Victory
swindle.
is 17.
No. I rolled better on this than I wanted to, actually.
For swindle.
So that's a 14 for me.
Mine is a 15.
That's a 10 actually for Rudy. It's not good.
15.
And for Tear,
15.
15. So yeah, you're not exactly familiar with wherever this is. That statue doesn't mean much to you all, and it is just not where you expected that door to open to. and people are walking by, and they head into another door next to you, and Altair is leading the way out with this woman directly at his side almost, and Bennett close behind them.
So I know you said don't get swindled. Does that mean we can't buy anything either?
And he turns around and he says, "This is Faylock Row, baby. You can buy anything you want."
Haylock Road.
I love that name.
I love it, but I am winning.
Faylock Row.
Row.
R-O-W.
Thank you.
Oh, like Greek row. That's
Yeah.
where all the frats are. All the
Or
fake
Skid
frats.
Row.
Oh God, if we have to deal with D&D fraternities,
Please don't.
So, Tara, you asked that question.
I'm also gonna start looking around at wares and just seeing if I can find any trinkets to buy.
Okay. If you're going to pause and look around, then yes, go ahead and you look around, and there are a couple of people there, and there are some people, especially because you're right there at the circle. There is a bunch of folks handing out things, and there is a man sitting at a table with a beard and nothing on his table, just sitting there. There is a older woman at another booth with a few necklaces hanging, and there is what looks like a child behind a table of swords.
I want to go to the homie selling vibes.
Who?
The person selling, like, just sitting in front of a table and just like selling vibes. That person.
So
Vibes for sale.
you got any of those vibes?
Those good
vibes. Got them good vibes.
okay, so you want to approach that table, and as you do, he looks up and says, "Can I help you?"
Maybe. I don't. What can you help me with?
Well, you name it, I've got it.
Are you talking like magic items, or are you talking like cool rings?
They could be one and the same, but it really just depends on what you need. Baron, and he holds out a hand to shake yours.
I'll put my hand out. Here.
So, if you're here, that's something you need. And you came to the right place. I've got it.
Oh my god. Can you show me just like a regular wooden ring?
And he goes, he says, "Just a moment." And he walks into the back, and he rifles around for a moment, and then he comes out and says, "Wooden ring," and sets it down.
I'm gonna turn back to my friends and be like, "This person's got magic, I think. Like it. I like it here."
It's taking everything in Ruby's being not to facepalm because she's trying to remain in this persona.
I'm a guard.
She is it's taking everything she has.
Okay, how much for the ring?
Well, what are you paying with?
I mean, I thought gold was the only way to pay, and like, other coins.
Money is one way. Information's another.
I'm gonna stick to gold.
And a single piece will do.
Okay. Wait, what kind of information? What do you not need to know? Like the fantasy equivalent of a social security number?
Please don't tell them that.
I would give them my social.
Wait, would Terry have a social security number?
No, I'm an alien.
Yeah.
In multiple ways.
Was your mother's made a name and the name of your first pet, the street you grew up on, and your kindergarten teacher's last name.
And he's like, I don't know.
So
what is his
one
social
gold
security
ought to
number?
Well, okay. Well, do you have any magic rings, and what kind of information would you want for them?
And he picks it up and says, I told you, they can be one and the same. And as he opens his hand, that wooden ring now has jewels encrusted along the edges and says, so.
Shit.
And he holds it up.
Yes.
Perhaps. You tell me your true name.
I'm pretty sure this is how you get stuck to the Fey Lie. Fey World. Nope, Fey Wild. There we go. That's another.
No, both
canon.
answers are
Goddamn it.
correct.
Oh,
Okay. Okay, I'll play your game. Sagittarius.
Now, DM to player, is that your true name?
Yes.
Okay. And so you tell him this name, and he says, and he hands it out to you.
This
All
will
yours.
Thank you. And what does it do? This will not bite me in the ass. Fine.
This one, in particular, helps you find something lost.
Oh. Perfect. Thank you. And I'm gonna start fiddling around with it as I like walk away with a concerned smile on my face.
Cool. Do you put it on, or are you just fiddling with it?
I do put it on.
Cool. Would you make a con save for me?
Ruby's internally screaming.
Oh
And if the tear returned with the group, just being like, "Hey, Twinkle, did you get anything cool?"
Yeah, I got this ring, and I rolled a 14.
So yeah, he just shows back up to the party, and Altair is saying, so are we gonna party, or?
I'd like
Yeah,
to party.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm down to party.
What I signed up for.
And the woman
sorry.
the
No,
woman
go
with him looks down and says, are we going to be taking all evening for this? And he says, oh, you're right, business. And he says, if you don't mind, we're going to move along. But Brutus, you were going to say something?
Yeah, just real quick while we were walking, I wanted to take a quick moment to catch up to Bennett, kind of quiet like, and be like, can I ask you a thing?
I think you just did.
Yeah, but like a thing. I don't... So, warrior type, that's my read on you. Quiet, like a fight. And you're with him, and I sort of do like the chin nod towards Altair, like when his back is facing us. He's a player. So, money or ideals?
And he leans over, and he's a little taller than you.
He's a Goliath, and I'm
Yeah.
5'3". Yeah. Or whatever I said Brutus was. I have to look in my description.
And he looks you now at eye level and says, money or ideal? Does no one care about thrills anymore?
Hadn't considered that. Right then.
You are the first time ever face to face with Bennett in this way. Roll a history check for me.
And it's just singing in his head, I want cheap thrills.
History?
Yeah.
Shoot, I have a negative to that. 13.
Something about him seemed familiar, but You don't really know.
Interesting. Weird. But I'll pay attention to it for the future.
And yeah, so
Can I?
That's it. She'll just sort of nod and like be like, cool. Was just curious, like warrior to warrior type, you know.
mm-hmm.
Can I make a perception check just of the general area, just to take in like a general layout while we're
Yeah.
walking?
Yeah,
Okay.
go right ahead as you're walking. Make one.
Yeah, that's a 17. That's without my bonus, but
What's your bonus?
perception 1, so 18.
Okay. Yeah, so as you're walking, you make a general look around and you're listening and you hear all sorts of stuff and you see some people who are definitely keeping themselves hidden from everyone as they walk around here. It's a very shady kind of vibe to this area and you can tell that immediately. Would the other four of you now as you're walking make a perception check?
Yes.
Will do. What is my perception?
18.
Wait, does that include me?
Yep.
Okay.
13.
There it is. 4.
16.
Okay. Yeah, you all get the same sort of vibe. It's a very strange and it's definitely a shady place, but it's also very active. And in your looking around, you see guard towers and you can see like city guard monitoring the space. And then you're led through several shops and you get to the end and there's a brick wall and Altair is just walking towards it. And then he walks through it.
Sure.
And the woman doesn't hesitate and walks right through as well. And Bennett follows.
I walked through platform
Hiccup.
9 3/4.
Cool.
Yeah, same.
Yep. Hiccup's just like, oh, false brick. And he just walks through it.
False brick.
So you
brick.
walk through and yeah, you get through and now you're out in a city. You're outside now. And there are a couple of shops, a couple of stalls just outside of this, sort of blocking it. And someone selling apples directly in front of it. And then you all get to keep moving on and walking. And he leads you through this town. Again, make a, I guess, history check here.
Three.
15.
11.
8. These rolls are- I'm just gonna switch dice.
Like, I totally know the history of fruit.
What about Brutus and 4? Did you get a nat 1 on that?
No, I got an unnatural one, which is funnier.
That's good.
It's good.
How about for Tear? What was that? What was that history check?
That is a 9.
All right, and the highest one in there was a 16, correct?
And it's on plants? Oh man, and Brutus
Right.
loves plants.
Who got the 16?
I got a 15.
Oh, 15? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so on your way into town, on your way to the clan of Cauldareen, you trekked up this way, and you actually remember this is the city of Eleanor. As you start to walk around, you just kind of, you remember your path, your way, and you remember making a stop in here, Hiccup, when your mentor took you and Tear through. And this is the city of Eleanor.
Ooh.
You are in the land of trickery.
Oh shit.
You are no longer in the land of Forge. You are an entire 2 countries away.
Wow!
I'm just gonna comment out loud. Wow. Cheapest train ticket to go across countries.
Sorry, what?
He goes, we're in Eleanor now.
Sorry, what?
We're in Eleanor now. Do I need to say it again slower?
What? No, that's okay. I got it. But I don't got it.
Magic.
And
He like does little
Sweet
sparkle fingers.
magic.
they lead you through the streets of Eleanor, the capital city of the land of trickery. It's bustling day and night. There is not a single person who isn't here for some ulterior motive. And the city has 2 or 3 story buildings everywhere. And there are boxing matches happen. There are casinos. People are betting on, Three Dragon Ante and all sorts of different things. You can see folks running through the streets as guards blow whistles and chase after them. And it is very hectic. But it's also Eleanor. And as they lead you for a while, they finally get to a storefront. And they walk on in. And again, Altair holds the door open and says, after you.
Jumping in.
Wouldn't
What else
say
could go
a
wrong?
thing.
What is the order of who goes in?
I will go in last.
I'll go in first.
Okay. So Hiccup, roll a perception check for me.
Okay.
I don't think that the that firebolt in the air is gonna work anymore.
Oh no.
This is not close.
That'd be a 5.
Okay. Yeah. So
Yes, I don't
uh,
think a firebolt in the air is gonna work anymore.
So
No.
Hiccup, you're the last to head in, and Altair kind of slides the door behind you, and he walks in and he nods to the folks in this shop. It seems to be a clothing shop, and he just nods to them, and they go back to sewing and stitching as he and Bennett and your group walk past. And as they get back, there's a room down a hallway, and they get over somewhere, and Bennett lifts a chain, and the floor, half of it lifts up to show you stairs descending. And Altair just starts his little light jog down the stairs as he's like, oh, right this way? I'm gonna get us some good drinks. Can't do business without drinks. And he descends underground.
As we're walking in, are they all in front of, like in the front of the group, or are they like sandwiching us?
So they have been they were at the front except for Altair, who was behind all of you. So as you come in, Altair would have been behind all of you until you got into that room, and then he went down first.
Okay. I'm
So they sort of seem to be cycling the sandwiching. Bennett holds the door open, then Altair goes first, then Altair holds the door open and Bennett goes first, but they're cycling.
I hated those in softball practice where you had to run to the front.
Worst.
I'm gonna like sort of hang back near Ruby for a sec.
Mhm.
Ruby.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to be stealthy about this. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to freak you out.
Mhm.
I think we're working with something called Jace.
Yeah, I kind of picked up on that too.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know. Not like a pickup thing. Like, no, we definitely are. I think someone, like, they
Right,
definitely.
right,
wanna-
right.
Yeah.
right.
Okay. Okay. Cool. But if anyone has to get a tattoo, like, show it. I kind of want one. I want to see what happens.
Of course you do. Okay.
I'll take one for the team. Just
Sure.
I love
Figure out how to explain it to your cousin, I'm sure.
I'll leave him to me. It's fine.
Okay, great. That's what I want to go back to and fill out that report.
Yeah. All right. Oh, yeah, go ahead, Brutus.
Yeah, as this weird sort of circling thing is happening, I want to have Brutus keep your eye on all of our party members, make sure they're all still with us at all times. Very just like sheepdog.
Sure.
Second, I think that this is shady enough that Brutus isn't particularly going to hide that she's using her divine sense, if that is something she can't really effectively hide.
Yes.
So, as an action, you can detect good and evil. Until the end of your next turn, you can sense anything affected by the hollow spell or know the location of any celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet that is not behind total cover.
Tell me how Brutus's divine sense looks.
So, I think for this one, normally she has kind of like reddish brown eyes, like the color of dried blood, and they flare up to this very like reddish orange color when she's utilizing that sense. And
Okay,
other than
so-
that, nothing else happens, but that's just like these very, very bright eyes.
Okay. And what is the order of everyone going down the stairs? Because the first one down was Altair, and Bennett's holding this open. What's the order of everyone going down?
I'm going last.
Once we've all gone in, Brutus will kind of hold back, though. If Hiccup is trying to go last, Brutus is going to kind of like nod at the sword like, I'm a bodyguard type. This is what I do. Like,
He shrugs. And
Ooh,
we'll let
wow.
you do that thing.
let me
We're
keep
gonna
an
hold
eye
off
on
until
you,
the
Bugaboo.
cameras get fixed.
Yeah, we'll hold a sec.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take a
Sorry.
bite of this delicious food that
Didn't
was
wanna
set in front of
interrupt,
me
but I
while
was
we're
like,
fixing. Yeah.
Probably.
That was a good pause.
Getting like,
Yes,
"Oh,
absolutely.
can you see me?"
Yeah, like Brutus isn't gonna make Hiccup go, but she is gonna be like, I'm a beefy boil.
Like,
Like,
All right.
your protein.
let me
Kat,
protect
I
you.
have not been keeping an eye, but how are we doing? I know we're at 31 here.
We are at
So-
31.
Yeah, we've been hovering around that number.
We got up to 37 at one point. We were over halfway,
Yeah.
folks.
Okay.
Looks like we're back.
Okay. So as you descend, you decide to hang back a little bit as you trigger your ability. And as you do,
Uh-oh.
coming down this stairwell, divine sense kicks in and your eyes glow a bit. And you get a ping. You get wisps of undead energy. Now, typically, you're supposed to see the location of any undead fiend or celestial within 60 feet of you.
Yes.
And you don't know who or what, but you just know where.
Yeah.
And coming from down these stairs, you get some wisps of just that undead energy. And they are entering. Hey, Schooner or Later. Thank you for that, Schooner or Later. Thanks for the raid. Welcome in.
Dungeons and demigods. Thank you,
Woo!
homies.
Oh, thank you.
Y'all are wonderful. So you come down the stairs and you activate Divine Sense. And this undead energy is sort of like a trail. Like if you could see scent, you see it just on the air leading down the hallway. And as you get to the bottom of the stairs, Bennett closes the hatch behind you all and follows down. There is a hallway, and it branches to the left, to the right, and straight ahead. And that energy heads straight ahead. But Altair's gone to the right and says, all right this way. Let's get us some drinks. And he takes you around the corner and leads the group that way. What do you do? Brutus.
I'm gonna follow, but I'm gonna be looking for a moment because I don't have message. Paladins don't get cantrips.
Suck it.
Right? So I'm gonna be looking for a moment where I can potentially share that information with some party members, but I'm not gonna do it until I think I am in the clear, or could do it in sort of like a quiet, shall we even say deceptive sort of way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you you are here again in this line, and Bennett is at the back, and Altair is at the front with this woman. And so, are you trying to do this right now with Bennett behind you, or are you going to wait?
No, not until I think
Yeah, okay.
that it's safe.
Okay. And so you walk to the end of the hallway, and there are a couple doors you pass, but then you...
Sorry, I have one other thing I'm doing.
Yeah.
Now that we've split onto different paths, I'm also just going to be keeping track of which wall is to our right, because you can use that to kind of keep track of where you are in a maze.
Okay.
Yep.
And yeah, you get down the hallway, and then he opens up a door, Altair does, and says, and this time he doesn't hold it open. He just walks in, and he enters the room, and he says, so, how about a drink? And he grabs a carafe and starts pouring some drinks, and
blood?
turns around. Oh, posture check. And it looks like a brandy.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
he passes it out to each of you and says, here you are, here you are, here you are, here you go. I don't know if you like it, but you're gonna love it, so here you go.
I would
And-
like to make a poison check. I don't know what that would be, but maybe like a survival check, or
Yeah, go ahead and make a survival check for me.
I want to make sure they're not poisoned or drugged or anything. Oh god damn it. Hang on. What's my modifier?
I'm gonna just take a sip.
I was also going to do a survival check, but I think I am immune to poison.
Yeah, my total is a
I was-
6. I'm probably like, ooh, drink.
No,
We'll say that you still tried. You thought, like, is it poison? And you smelled it, and just the brandy smell was so strong that you couldn't tell even if there was. That's what we'll say with that. So you still
Oh,
did the
I'm-
thing. You checked
not.
it.
I'm
Ruby
immune to
would also
disease,
be-
not poison.
Kirby would also be really suspicious and check it.
Yeah, everybody go ahead.
Okay.
Make a survival check.
As the
Sure.
rogue, I gotta
No
check it.
suspicions.
That's not
Tear
great.
fucking gives no
As-
shit. We'll drink.
Mine- Real good. That's a dirty 20.
Hey.
A dirty 20.
A
16.
dirty 20. So an
Nine.
18, but yeah.
Yeah, so you can tell with at least with your inspection, this just seems to be some good aged brandy.
Cool.
Still slip it like real tiny. Again, I think Brutus did this several episodes ago, but like the sipping where you're like looking like you're drinking, but you're really like taking it super
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
That drinking.
Eric just drinks it like normal. Like
It
I
also
just don't
drinks
feel
it
like
like
I'm gonna get
normal.
poisoned right now. That doesn't really make sense to her. So we'll be fine. It's fine.
So, now that we're all here, little demonstration. And after he takes the shot of his own drink, he turns around and he grabs a little box off the counter. And he says, Bennett, let's get you squared away, huh? And he opens up this little metal box. And inside, there is a silver needle. And he pulls it out and a small inkwell. And he dips it into it. And as he pulls it out, the ink sort of climbs the silver needle. And it's a big needle. And he pulls that out. And Bennett walks over and he holds out his right forearm. And Altair takes it and he holds the tip of the needle there. And after a moment, the ink seeps off and attaches and then spreads out across his forearm, creating a tattoo. And it sucks into his skin, and you see it there imprinted. And Bennett looks it over and then puts his arm back down. And Altair slaps the box shut and closes the clasp. And he turns around and says, "So, who needs tattoos?" I mean, sorry, that is what we're here to talk about, right? I didn't pick the wrong people. That would have been weird. I could have done that, but Bennett, you're better than that.
I mean, yeah, that would be absolutely weird. I'm interested.
Could I gesture at his arm to inspect the tattoo?
And Bennett walks forward and shows you the tattoo on his forearm.
Does it feel like anything? Does it feel like a tattoo?
Yeah, it just feels like a tattoo. Roll a perception check. Or I guess, yeah, we'll make it a perception check to feel it if you do.
10.
Yeah, no, it's tattoo.
I have a question. Has Ruby ever seen a tattoo done at Cauldareen?
So Ruby is seen, and I won't make you roll on this because you experienced something like it. When you
Right.
put on the ring to get your magical ability to teleport through your chosen place,
Okay.
that ring bestowed upon a version
Okay.
of this sort of thing, but it is not what you're seeing here.
Right. This very much is more symbiote looking than what she experienced
Yeah.
in a way. Okay. I just wanted to make that clear. It's cool. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So he's just shown this to you, Terex. Are you doing anything?
I'm sort of looking at it. How much do they cost?
Well, that certainly depends. I like you, right to the point. Where was this one? And he looks over at Hiccup and Brutus. Where was this one when we were hanging out? Getting some drinks, keeping all the fun ones to yourself?
I mean, look, I'm very picky. I like to keep close friends as close to me as possible. I don't like sharing.
I know what you mean, right, Bennett? I hate sharing, but what can you do? And the woman cuts him off and says, "Oh, how much do they cost?" And he says, "Oh, well, always to the point. Yes, it kind of depends. How much do you need them to cost? Or, sorry, let me say that again. What do you need them to do?" And Brutus, at this point, make a perception check with advantage.
Advantage. Okay. 15.
You notice the mark of the order on her coat as well.
Shit. So I would just like to clarify, is that the order
Yeah.
like my okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
The organization that you are familiar with, yes, indeed.
I quietly
You're
start to
injured.
have a panic attack. I'd like to do that as my free action.
Okay. Yeah, you start to panic.
Just it's fine, just very quiet, hyperventilating.
Yeah, that's why Terex took a shot.
I didn't realize.
Yeah.
So,
Plenty.
what do you mean? Well, they can do all sorts of stuff. I mean, I thought that was very evident in the display on the field. It kind of depends on what you need and how badly or soon you need it. The thing it takes a little time to make this sort of stuff, possible.
Did it hurt?
Bennett looks over. Don't feel a thing.
From where Ruby standing, having watched that, she's gonna look over. Any side effects?
You mean other than the ability to
Yeah.
drop a fireball on people?
Yeah, I saw that. It was very impressive. I meant negative side effects.
Doesn't all magic have it if you use it in the wrong spot?
Power can't come from nowhere, right?
Of course not, but a wand doesn't come from nowhere. A scroll doesn't come from nowhere. This is like a portable scroll, a little more inconspicuous and a little easier to access, if you ask me.
I'm just.
You
looking-
didn't, but if you did, that's what I would have said.
I'm just still like looking, kind of examining his arm. How did you learn how to do this?
Well, the way everyone learns. Experimentation.
Do I notice Brutus having her quiet panic attack?
Make an insight check.
Do I roll deception versus that?
Yeah. You're rolling deception to not freak out.
Okay, it's a plus.
Oh, bad.
I rolled a 19.
Well, then you beat it because I, in total, rolled a 9.
Brutus, would you roll a Constitution saving throw?
Yes. Well, that was a nat 20, though.
Hey!
Okay. And so, yeah, you do notice Brutus seems to have tensed up a bit, and well, I guess, yeah. What are the traits about Brutus that are off right now?
Yeah, no, I think tensed up is appropriate. Like, mostly the same, but just like hand is like resting really near the sword hilt, jaw is like super tightened up. Like paying hyper attention, but not to necessarily the small talk. Everything that's physically happening.
Hiccup being the ironically intuitive one with emotions, or a mean
Feelings.
because he understands feelings. He notices this, takes a mental note, and his guard is so much higher up now than it used to be. Because he
Roll a
wants his team
deception
to be
check.
safe. A deception check?
Yep.
Sure, I can do that. Okay, plus. That would be a 5.
Bennett says, "You look a little stressed."
Alcohol does that to me.
Well, perhaps power will make you feel a little less.
This motherfucker sometime. After he has his bread swooshed up.
Speaking of power, you mentioned the price varies. Where does it start and where does it end?
Well, it could start as simple as a few hundred gold for a single tattoo. But we give you a price break if you'd like to get a whole bunch. And get you set up. I mean, that's what you're here for, aren't you? And the woman chimes in and says, "Can children wear them?" Well, I mean, technically anyone can. Yeah, anyone.
Why kids, though?
And she glances in your direction. She looks you up and down for a moment, and then looks back. What about animals? I actually can't say that I've seen it successfully in that scenario. You kind of have to think to activate it. So it wouldn't really be. So what you're saying is An animal might be able to, but it would be unstable. Ah! Well, yeah, you got me there. That is, in fact, what I am saying. So, yes, anyone can wear them, I suppose, even an animal. But it is sort of triggered by a thought.
That is a terrible idea.
Are you the only person who does them? I got one. I wanted to come back later, but I have to track you down somehow.
Well, if you need one, you can have it and be on your way. Who knows where we'll be next? If you needed many, then perhaps we could work a deal, and perhaps it is easier to get them in various locations.
Fortunately, I don't know if I have enough on me right now to afford one.
Oh, we can certainly set up some sort of system. As I said, it does take a bit to make a larger batch, but we can get you squared away if need be.
Ruby's gonna kind of shrug. Have you ever had anybody physically reject one of these?
I can't say I've ever seen it.
So there has been one that you just haven't seen?
Roll an insight check.
I would also like to.
Same.
Can we all? Can everybody roll in?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That was so damn sus.
That was actually decent.
I love that. That was so sus.
Insight 18.
Insight 17.
16 for insight.
Okay, so the highest was what I heard, 18?
Yeah.
17 for me, 18 for
Okay.
Terex.
I got a 16.
Yeah, so for that 16, 17, 18, Brutus, what'd you get?
17 also.
Okay, so yeah, and Ter?
14.
All right. That's enough to at least, Ter, you have the question, and the rest of you were thinking it in your head. And he says, I mean, I've heard of some folks abusing them or not using them as intended, and really that's a user fault.
I feel like child murder and animal torture over here might not use them properly as I stare down to the other person and just stare daggers at him.
Yes.
I love you.
We're both.
I just
Hair and Hiccup are both just glaring at this bitch.
I just cover my mouth, shocked. Yeah. No, I don't say that. But
Do you say that though, Ter? Like you say that out loud?
Absolutely.
Ruby is
Like-
taking everything in her body not to turn around and just.
I just have what's his name? I'm just looking at Bennett's arm and I just like look over.
And
Hiccup.
eyes dilate just a little bit, like, oh my god.
Yeah. Hiccup's gonna lean a little more casually on the bar and says casually, just, I'm with Twinkle on this one. I don't think. Yeah. That's not okay, lady.
What? Do you not ask questions about products to thoroughly understand them? If they were to end up in the wrong hands, we now know. A child could even walk around with this. Can you imagine the near devastating destructive power from something like that?
Sounds like coming from somebody who wants to use that and abuse that.
Why are you here? Is it not to
Sure, we are well
purchase something
protected.
like this? Well protected from what? I mean, based on the devastating force I saw in today's match, it'd be most peculiar to wonder what a group like yourselves is so worried about.
Okay.
After we saw
just
the
think they're
devastating
hot.
force, well, that is fair as
this-
well.
At this point, I think Brutus is gonna like tamp down that panic and like lean into the ability to lie and just like put on a really like confident smile and be like, good. That means you're all right with whatever we use them for. And I'll look at Hiccup and Tear like, thanks for testing them.
Roll that deception for me.
Okay.
Do it.
Paladin. Paladin. Charisma.
Please roll good.
Please.
roll good.
I wish I
Okay,
could give you
It's
inspo.
an 18 plus things.
Oh, yes.
Pretty
Yeah.
high.
It's a what?
It's an 18 plus things.
Mhm.
That's the 24.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm gonna give just a collective room roll here.
Oh boy.
And
we gotta
that,
say the situation.
that was a 3 for the room.
Yeah.
And so to that 20, you said 5, 24?
What was it? It was an 18 plus 6.
7?
Okay, 24. So yeah,
Excuse me.
with a 24, yeah, the room just kind of all looks at you, the other 3, and you hear Altair say, "Ah, see, it got a little weird there for a minute, but I love that. I love when you guys are just I love when you're doing that. That's great. Testing each other, working them out. That was good. You had me going there for a moment. That was good.
Right? Now, here's an important question. I have an affinity with the undead. Do these work in that situation?
Yeah. I don't see why they wouldn't. They kind of work in any situation, so long as the person casting can think to do so, they'll activate.
Fantastic.
Roll an insight check.
Will do. Don't do me wrong here, Die. You did me wrong. 8.
Okay. So yeah, he yep, that's that seems like it.
Yeah, it's fine.
And this woman looks at Brutus and again takes you in for a moment.
Well, I'll
here-
just do the same to her. I just like up and down. Exactly what she's doing to me.
And here you were asking if I was to be worried about.
Had to be sure.
Of course. Now, if you don't mind me asking, you are a peculiar one. She's looking at Tear now. What are you?
I mean, I guess I'm just another star floating back.
Indeed. Indeed. And she turns back. So, I would like to see how things are done. If you don't mind. And Altair says, all right, well, I was going to do another round of drinks and maybe some jokes. But okay, yeah, we can
Oh,
just...
could we do the drinks though? Could we?
Yeah, I'll take
Also,
another
I'll
drink.
hear the jokes afterwards. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we could do the drinks on the go. Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go. Here we go. And
More than
Altair just
rules.
kind of he just pours you the drinks and as he's heading out the door. All right, this way. And he's like carrying the carafe of brandy with him.
And a good tattoo artist never allows his clients to get tattooed while drunk.
And he's just like, right this way.
Sipping and
Good
walking,
is the
sipping and
problem here.
walking.
Yep.
So yeah, you are now walking down the hallway the way you came. You're doubling back, and you get to the crossroads here. To the left is up the stairs out of here. Straight ahead is something, and it's just more hallway. And then to the right is the direction that he's turned now. So had you come down the stairs and gone straight when you first got here, this is the direction it would have gone.
The undead direction?
Yes.
I don't have a way to convey this well without getting caught. I'm just going to keep thinking about it.
And so, yeah, you're walking in that direction, and Bennett's at the rear. Altair is leading the front, and you walk down that hallway. And now, as you get there, you come out to a warehouse. It's a fairly decent-sized room, and it's just a single level, but this is built underneath the streets above, and so it has some good clearance here. There are several crates in here and different things set up. There are boards, and there are cauldrons. There are chalk circles drawn underneath them, and some of them are bubbling. There are a couple of small little inkwells, like what you saw, filled up and sitting on a shelf. And there are some people manning some of the cauldrons, and while others are glowing with a insignia or a magic circle drawn on them, they seem to be glowing, and that cauldron is smoking. And everybody make a perception check.
Oh no.
Okay.
2.
23, baby.
Thank you, Tare.
18.
Fuck.
That's
Six.
not a number.
Oh, sorry.
So
Where's my number?
With my, can I say that like with my 5, I am just very distracted. This seems it's cult stuff is super bad, I know, but it's also very fascinating.
Yeah, I think Hiccup is trying to keep himself together, especially with how miffed he is at the child hurting lady. That he
Yeah,
wants
she
to,
sucks.
he wants to murder the fuck out of her.
So Ruby and Pear. Ruby, you look around this space and you can see a couple of things in here. You see all the setup, but you also see that this is sort of like an assembly line going on. You can piece that together with all the information, just glancing over it, and you can see them grinding and smashing some stones that are sort of silver and green, and they're grinding those into nothing. You see them dumping some of that into a bigger cauldron of ink and swirling that around. And then you see them taking some of it and placing it into small little cauldrons with a magic circle underneath them. And you see it's one of many small little jug-sized cauldrons filled with it. And that magic circle is sitting underneath them and it's glowing. And then you see some of those have been poured into their little inkwells, and those are set inside a unique container as well that has things all around it, and they're sealed up. Tare, you see all of the same stuff, but your attention's actually grabbed by two things you see in the back of the room. And they are working on two cauldrons, some of the bigger ones. And they are moving about in a strange way, almost in a mechanical type of way. But what you notice is these creatures are covered in a black, like vine substance wrapped all around them. And there is green moss about them, and they are working just very mechanically.
I was trying to ask this question, but
You were that surprised. You were that shocked.
Yes. Is this similar to a certain set of vines we faced in Cauldareen? by chance?
Yes, but all of the green and brown that you remember from Sharwin's is gone. These are black and gray and decayed. But they are very reminiscent of that.
Oh God, no. I can't fight Sharwin. Okay, cool. I'll take another glance at them, but pay attention to the smaller cauldrons.
Yeah, that's right. Do any of the rooms look familiar or like things I've seen before?
Yeah, roll an Arcana check then.
Yeah, absolutely. I am okay at Arcana. I get a +1, so we'll see. That's a 16.
Nice.
Yeah, you see some familiar things that you're like, oh, that's a wizard's form of the light cantrip, and
Okay.
they're placing something like, I've seen similar makings for that. There's something with electricity involved in that one, but you're seeing several incantations, but you don't exactly understand why they are where they are. But like, you see some of them and you understand the symbols in here, so you definitely tell, oh, these are spells and components.
Yeah. She's gonna kind of surmise that, they must be using them to magically alter the properties of this ink, but I'm not sure how, so thank you.
And Altair walks in and says, so, shall we do the tour thing? Is that what you like? Do you like the tour thing?
Let's do the tour thing. Yes.
Oh, yeah, the tour thing. Hey, you're not going to try and steal the ideas, right?
I have no
Don't think we
artistic
could.
talent.
Good. I could care less, but like, it
You
would
don't want
probably
me.
be bad
You don't
for
want me with a needle.
Yeah. Anyways, let's take a look. And he comes over and he shows you. So it's actually a fun little thing here. It's not an easy thing to do, but it's easy in principle. It's a little bit of dust, a little bit of ink, and a little bit of whatever those guys do. And he just motions to some of the folks who are using symbols and stuff and working on a cauldron. And there you have it. But the breakdown. So over here, a little bit of dust I told you about. That, carium. And I think we've talked about this before, so we're just going to say that it jogs a memory in everyone make just a history check here. There's a knowledge roll, and give me anyone above a 12 will remember what this is.
Oh, I got a 13.
All right, so you remember.
I got a nat 20, but I kind of feel like this is a waste of a nat 20.
Yeah.
Prefer that for later.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Like, can I say
Hiccup
that?
and tear.
That's an 8. I'm good.
My total was a 10, so.
All right, so sort of like you've heard the name, but you don't remember what's special about it. Carium, to the other group, carium is a type of unique rock that has magic properties to it. It has a bit of earthen magic inside of it. Based on where carium can be found is only in little veins of magic pockets in the earth, that something magical died there or grew there, or some vein of something, a tear in the fabric, whatever, some form of magic leaked out somewhere and caused a pocket of loose magic that was absorbed into the rock and ultimately turns into carium. And so these are often cut down or melted down and turned into weapons or armor because they hold magic so well. And these folks over here, they grind down the carium, turn it into a nice fine powder. Then we take it, standard old ink there, but not standard right away. Not standard for long. We take it, and as you can see, they've got the big thing over there. That's just ink. Means nothing to them. But underneath, there's a little bit of a spell at work. It's binding some of it together so that it makes the ink take the little bit of a sentience to it, giving it a little bit of a do as you're told sort of mentality there. And then from that, we pour in the powdered carium, mix that up, binds really well once in powdered form with the ink. Whoever figured that one out, very clever. And when you bind that together, you've got an ink that can absorb magic. Now that we've done what we've done, simple thought. Once transferred, that's a process too. A simple thought, and you can tell it to release that magic that it's held on to. So, pretty much the rundown of it. Now we do have to throw a few more spells here and there, depending on what we got to put in, and it's got to simmer for a couple of weeks to really make things stick. And the longer we can let it simmer, the more potent we can allow a spell to be.
Fantastic. So you brew by spell.
And what did you just say? What did Brutus just say?
She said, fantastic. So you brew by spell.
Yes.
And what do they do? I'll point at divine creatures at the back.
Oh, more labor, much like everyone else. They handle some of the things that maybe would be a little less fun for some of us of the living to do.
Absolutely.
All about safety here.
And savings.
Yes, absolutely.
Well,
Roll
what?
Tare, since you asked the question, roll an insight.
Ooh, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a 25.
Look at Tare.
Nice.
He hesitated for a second, and when you asked him what they did, and then he looked over in their direction, and he just kind of, that whole time he looked right back at you, and he gave you the explanation, but once he recognized what you were talking about, he looked right back at you and just kind of nodded them.
Okay. I'll look back at him as he looks me in the eyes, and I'll say, they are very scary. I get it.
Hey, there's a lot of scary things out there.
What are we near?
Like physically standing next to?
Mm-hmm.
So he brought you over to show you the carium. So there's a bunch of powdered carium next to you, and not far from it, and there's some solid rocks of it. Not far from you would be thank you for the hydrate check. Not far from you would be a vat of regular ink.
Mm-hmm.
A big vat of it that they would mix.
I just walk toward the carium rocks and say, may I?
Depends on what, but be my guest.
I like rocks. I do just kind of want to inspect it, just kind of get a good look at it.
My lady has a fair number of hobbies.
I just want to see, look at the quality, if there's anything interesting about this particular kind of carium. I don't know if it's sort of like other stones where you can kind of know where it comes from based on chemical makeup. But yeah, I want to inspect the rocks.
I want to look at the pretty rocks.
Roll an Arcana check.
Larcarium sounds like the fantasy version of Texas Hold'em.
Yeah.
Arcana is
God.
19.
So this is good quality. This is good quality carium. Very strong, very rich. When you grab it, you can sort of feel a bit of earthen magic from it. It's not like it itself is going to do anything, but it's like when you grab fresh just dirt and soil and you feel it, it's like, oh, but this is just a fucking solid rock that's been broken off. But when you grab it, it's just like you've grabbed a piece of just good fresh earth, and you can feel that energy in your hand.
Yeah, and I'm not hiding anything about how it looks. It's a fucking cool magic rock, and I know it's a very high quality magic rock. So I'm just kind of looking at it and inspecting, I'll put it back. I'm not gonna like do anything dumb.
Yeah.
This good shit.
Ah.
Ruby
Yeah,
just
we have quite the in with a supplier.
Is that the secret name?
Yeah, speaking of that, very much seem like you're a wonderful salesman. Absolutely wonderful. But you must have bosses, but you do all of the dealings, correct?
Now, I must admit, everyone has a boss, but on that token, who's to say? I'm simply someone here trying to sell you an item, and if you do not need it, I could sell it somewhere else.
No, you misunderstand me. My lady is very interested. However, her safety is my top priority. I'm sure you have a man with many secrets, kind of gesturing around, can appreciate that.
Go on.
I just was curious as to how these are distributed out. If you are the salesman, and who are we actually dealing with? I know you probably can't tell us names, but I at least wanted to know the integrity of the merchandise.
Well, that's a good question. I like you. That's a good question. Now, I will say, if you need them now, you pay and you walk out with them. If you need them a little bit more discreet, we can have them delivered by a number of means. And frankly, we can even get them to you very discreetly. No need for anyone to know about this sort of thing. Now, I myself, perhaps, am not always running them. As I said, there are perhaps some faster ways to get them to you than coming directly from here. So,
Really?
depending on where you're at.
I mean, it was really fast getting here in the first place. I can't imagine how much faster it could be.
It was fast to get here on foot, not carrying 14 crates, you know?
That would be quite the order, I'm sure.
It would be. So, and he looks back to the woman. Still 14 crates? And she says, "Oh, I do believe we'll make it 20, if you don't mind." Wow, a big spender. I do like that. You and your whole little group, you're always a fun, weird customer. And I like that. I do enjoy that.
While all this is going on, basically since we've walked into the cauldron room, I would like Brutus to have like given Oliver like, you know, visual access to be like, all right, we got vine creatures, we got magic rock things, but more importantly, we got this bitch. And like look over
So
at
I'm gonna
the
do
gal
this
with
in
the
that
order
order.
thing.
I'm gonna do that in this order.
Okay.
So you look and you mentally tap into Oliver inside of your mind in the deep recesses as he sort of he's always sort of dozing if he's not occupying his mind with something, but it's not intrusive. And so when you call out to him, he just kind of comes online and he sees through your eyes. And you say, "We've got these vine things."
Yeah, vine creatures.
And Oliver is the one who, I know in the role, you did not see them, but because you accessed Oliver, 100% whispers to you, "No souls again. What is it with you and no souls?" And that's when you yourself become like aware and you can see them sort of faintly outlined now.
Cool. Right.
And Oliver kind of whispers that into your mind. Then you say, "Got some carium here." You can see just glowing, radiant magic coming off of, not radiant, but just radiating magic coming off. And then you look at the woman and you see your eyes land on the crest of order. Make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. Unsave. What do I add to that? It was a 14 plus 2, so that's a 16.
Cool. You have a quick vision of advancing and cutting her down, but you do not move.
Oh, I deeply want to. That's a shared vision. But
That'll
yeah,
make things
Brutus
awkward.
is gonna look over there and be like, so I sort of thought they were all dead. In her head. She doesn't say that. out loud.
Yeah. And Oliver says back into your mind, I don't recall much, but wherever we were was only a fraction of them. I think
Balls.
they were much more ingrained in your world.
Balls. Shit. Piss.
I was held at a facility and then transferred to the facility that you found me in. So I at least know I come from somewhere else.
Okay. Okay. We play this careful. Thank you.
And he just kind of quietly stays present.
Yeah, she'll continue to let him have access because with this gal here, it involves him too. It's only fair to give him like, you know, feel like he's got possibly more of a stake in this than I have actually. Even.
With the comment made about your people are always weird, can I roll insight on that to see if maybe he's had dealings with this individual or someone like her before?
I don't even make you roll for that. He
Okay.
is talking to her as like,
Okay.
they've done dealings before.
Okay. All right. I just
Or
wanted
at
to
least
make
he
sure-
has with whoever she's a part of.
Okay. I just want to make sure that Ruby had picked up on that. Cool.
So yeah, that is that. And he has said, so 20 cases. What? I do enjoy working with you. So we'll get that squared away and sent off to, well, wherever you need it. And so about cost, and she waves him off and says, not really a matter. I am simply the order placer. You certainly know Grail likes to have that conversation herself. And just leaves it at that. And walks off to the side and stands there as he turns to you. So, orders all around?
Order is all around.
Now, I must say, I've not done business with you before. Let me ask you this. What can I get you?
I think, how do we feel about something protective to start with, just to see how it reacts with us, so that way we don't blow ourselves away by mistake.
Seems reasonable.
Get used to it, and then we roll from there.
Yeah.
Certainly. We can certainly do that.
Do we? Ooh, I know you were gonna get one Terex. Were we gonna get any more?
I mean, I
Then I
sort
know.
of, exhausted some of my funds back in the Land of Forge, so I can't afford one right now. But you mentioned a payment plan. But,
Well, certainly.
Did he mention a payment plan?
He
Yeah.
did.
yeah.
It would have been even better if he hadn't.
Can I put it on layaway? What if I sign up for your store credit card? Can I
Put it on my tab.
But I mean, if people are worried, I can get one. We can see how it works, and then we could come back for more. If it
Well-
works well.
I certainly want to ensure customer satisfaction, so how about a vial on the house to get you started off with? And of course, if you'd like more, you can always come back. Now, of
Just
course,
like
on the
all
house,
the best dealers always say.
on the house, we can't give you top tier things, of course, but some of the standard stuff, a little bit of electricity you saw there, or something standard.
Standard on the house. I would hate to turn down an offer. What do you think? What would you recommend?
Well, why don't we try something like this? And he goes over and he grabs a vial and he comes back over and says, here you are. This is just enough. Shall we?
What does it do?
Well, if you were wearing this and you thought about it, you can ensure that I told you the answer.
Very nice.
It gives you the
That'd be very
ability
helpful.
to direct someone's course of action.
Corso's favorite spell.
It's like
Dislike.
Terex is smiling and kind of looks back at the group. I mean, I can't really say no to that, so.
Yeah, seems great.
Well, don't worry. I'm not using it on you, so you can't say no.
I can't say no, but why would I?
Who would want to?
Who would want to? Yeah, no, let's go ahead. Can I pick what it looks like?
Ruby's dying inside. She's screaming internally.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. You just
Yeah.
think about it, and it sort of takes the form.
Okay.
Now, this is a smaller one, so it'll
Right.
be, about yay size.
About yay size.
And he reaches over and gets a silver needle from nearby and says, so this one's prepped and ready to go. So here we are. And he dips it in and it pulls out. And it's less than what came out for Bennett's earlier that they put on his arm. And he pulls that out and says, all right, where would you like it?
I just unbutton the back of my shirt, like down a little bit, just to get it like kind of right below. You know that one vertebrae that like
Yeah.
like right below that.
Oh, excellent. And he moves over and says, if you don't mind. And you are much taller than he is.
Oh.
I go down. Yeah, I'm also wearing heels always.
No, and so he's
Yeah.
like, if you don't mind. Oh, you know what? Where are my manners? Bennett, would you like to do the honors? And Bennett walks over and takes it. And he leans over and holds it to your back. And before he presses it to your skin, says, are you ready?
Not afraid of needles.
And there's a bit of a cold touch as this needle touches your back. And then there is a moving sensation as it kind of moves along your back. And what do you think of image-wise?
Okay. It's this like shape that I loved drawing when I was a kid. Think of like like a drawing of a sun that's like a circle with the sort of triangular kind of swooshes out, almost like a sunflower. And in the sun, there is a crescent moon. And part of it is filled in. So the moon is white, the sun is dark, and there are these beautiful petals sprawling outward.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And the ink, you can't see it, but it takes this form. And then you sort of stop feeling that sensation. And Bennett subs back and says, all done. See, look at that. There you are, all set. So, you can give it a spin now or try it at your leisure, but
Ruby is kind of gonna immediately move in like in between Terex and Bennett and look at it just to make sure. Like Ruby's like still not okay with this at all.
Yeah.
You're a guard. It's your job.
Yeah,
it
no.
looks like exactly what Amelia just described.
Okay.
And yeah, it looks just like that.
Kind of like looking and then taking a step back.
So yeah, that one's on the house. And once you've given it a spin, thought about it, get you squared away with more. Now the rest of you?
Yeah,
I'm interested. I don't know how it will react. My kind of magic. My magic is pretty weird.
he turns into potted plants sometimes.
Shh, don't tell him.
You do that on
that's
purpose.
the thing I'm sensitive about.
The one thing it's like, on purpose? No, not on purpose.
Ruby
Sometimes
just
that
gives
just
a look.
happens.
Just
Well, then this might be magic that comes under your control. Wouldn't that be nice, huh? Not having to worry about anything like that?
That does sound nice, yes.
Damn it. They got a hiccup on their side.
once again, Ruby is internally screaming.
Okay, well, I think then if it works out for Terex, then we can come back and get some more.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's what we hope for.
Perfect. Would we find you at the pits again if we were to come back, say, tomorrow?
Ruby kind of puts a hand out. How about a card?
And Bennett looks at you and says, is that my card you want or yours?
Tell you what, I'll take one of each.
Oh, well. You know, I seem to have simply forgotten where I've placed the card. You know, how silly of me. How about we just find you?
Oh, tomorrow for lunch, we can maybe, I guess, find you at the bread squoosh place. And
It's
then
the
we can...
meat cart and the bread cart. They're next to each other.
Bread.
Ah,
public place for you to not have to worry about, I guess, us ambushing you.
That said, I'm sure you have a way for loyal customers to get in touch with you.
Perhaps we do. Here, why don't we get you set up with this? It's a fun thing, actually. I love this. Love how this came in. And he goes and he fetches a piece of paper. And he comes to you and he says, so this is a fun bit of stuff. And he takes it and he tears it in half. But he does it really neatly. And he says, this is my card. And technically, this is yours now. If you write on that, with regular ink, of course, please don't try to ever waste the other ink. It'll show up here. And he takes his finger and he just kind of draws, and like the tip of his finger draws a little bit on his, and then it shows up on your piece of paper.
Never.
I'll put a hand out for it. Sure. Works great.
So when you're in need of communication, let us know and we'll be in touch.
You have great resources here. I like it.
Well, what can I say? We work with some of the best suppliers.
Assume there's a way to get back to where we came from or nearby.
Oh, but of course. But of
Naturally.
course. We'll escort you. Now, you, shall we get you squared away, Ivari? I would like nothing more, but we'll have this handled. Now, you must tell me, when I show up, is it going to be like, all scary again? Because, like, oh, they are a lot, especially that Ariel is a lot to handle. So let me know. Could I just drop them off and be on my way? And she looks at him and says, we like to do things very direct. Yes, I am aware. Yes. All right. Well, I'll be seeing you with 20 crates. How could I say no to that? So, yeah, we'll be seeing you. Thanks so much. And she nods and says, I'll let myself out. And she begins to turn and head out.
I've taken the piece of paper, folded it, put it in my pocket.
Certainly.
It looks very
Well,
tense.
If you
Suddenly.
could point us to the way back as well, we will be on our way.
Oh, absolutely. We'll guide you right out, actually. And
Much appreciated.
he begins to lead you out of this space.
Is Bennett still with us, or
Bennett at this point has hung back and he's staying down in the kind of warehouse area for right now.
cool? As we're leaving, I'm just gonna be like, well, it is very exciting, but not as thrilling as I expected.
To who? To Bennett?
To Bennett, because of the conversation earlier.
Yeah. And he looks back to you and says, huh. Perhaps the exciting things aren't always what you see.
Fair enough.
Make a history check again.
Wait, no, I'm picking a different die. Hang on.
Use a different one.
Use a different one that I haven't used. You said a history check?
Yes.
Okay.
And I am going to give you advantage on this one because of your wording.
Ooh.
Okay.
Very
Okay.
nice.
So I still have to subtract something from this, so that's a 17.
Oh,
So it's a
That's not
good
bad.
roll, but
It's not bad. It's not bad.
I don't like that smile.
What have we got?
A 17 with my minus.
Okay. And you get a... When you said exciting, he turned, and there was something about how he's standing that jogged your memory. You noted it now. It's almost like it was second nature for him to stand that way. And you remember that pose. How could you forget it?
Jojo.
There was a player in that Forden War melee ball that there used to be one of the greats, and whatever happened to that guy? He was banned from playing. He was almost unstoppable, and he was banned from playing. And this guy looks a lot like that guy, but his name wasn't Bennett.
Well, Bennett's not a sports name.
And that's what you
Brutus.
remember.
Brutus
God
wants to
damn
be
it.
melee ball watcher. That sounds like something she'd be into.
Huh?
Hey, yo, Corso, send me his build so I can use it for Melee Madness.
Bet.
Give him a reason why he's banned.
Give me a reason.
Just give me a reason. Just a little bit's enough.
Damn it. And
Well, that
Hiccup
is
was made for
quietly noted, and Brutus, as always, just like, is not a thing. Just.
And yeah, so you then recognize that. Do you continue on?
Yep.
That means you're last in line, though, right?
Yeah, I guess that probably would. Yes.
And is Oliver still active?
Yeah, he's on until we leave this place, basically, until he decides it doesn't want to be present anymore, or he feels like there's nothing more that he wants to see.
Oliver, so you're walking with them, and he says, just a moment, and he runs off to the lounge where you were with the drinks to grab something. And so standing there for a moment as you come up, Oliver looks down the last hallway. You look down the last hallway, just looking around, and Oliver seeing through a line of magic through the crack of one of the doors, glowing with a bit of that same undead energy. Yours would have shown you stuff that wasn't behind total cover. But
Yeah.
Oliver's looking over and sees now at this angle, looking at a door, some of it.
Saw that earlier, but not totally.
And he says, what are they keeping around here? It not here, but was?
Well,
What
they
is
got
that?
things without souls, so tracks. There are other ghouls around. Well, not literal ghouls, but you know.
Make a con save.
Hey, wait.
I keep having to make these. I'm so scared. And I keep doing pretty good. I think I add 1 or 2 to that. So that's an 18.
Okay. You definitely have the thought that, like, what is that? But your body doesn't move.
Hmm. That said, I'm gonna be like, that you doing that whole like wanting to move thing.
Sorry, I'm
Brand.
getting a bit integrated. I think my thoughts are starting to almost take action.
Understood.
Apology.
No, we're in this together. You need a thing. Tell me. We'll talk it out.
What's in that?
You said that Altair had gone back for a sec.
Yeah, so he walked back for a sec to grab something in the lounge, and he had run in there and said, won't be a moment.
Great. I want to real fast, like, take 2 seconds, open the door, let Oliver get a look, and then close it. This is a very bad decision. I apologize to everyone in the party.
Okay, so
Yo,
you're gonna do this. You're gonna quickly. So yeah, just
Literally, like, I want to open it. I'm not giving myself time to process. I'm only giving Oliver time to process, and then I'm gonna close it. And I won't open it all the way. It's like a look and then a close.
Okay. So you open it up and you look. Give me a perception check.
Nope. I'm gonna switch
Come on,
dice
over there,
again.
baby.
I love this so much.
Perception. Okay, 15.
So when you open the door, you swing it open, and you open it up and look around, It's a small study, and the door was open because it was cracked, and that's what you were seeing. And so as you grabbed it, it was just open, looked around, saw it was a study, and shut it. And when you did, though, you opened the room and there was that undead energy about the place. And specifically, as you open the door,
Like a moron.
You know, like an idiot.
because you open the door and Oliver is active.
Oh God.
That was good. Because you open the door and Oliver is active, the map on the back of the wall behind the study is a map of Celeste. You've seen things like that. It's the map of the whole continent, all 12 lands. The continent of Celeste, the 12 lands. I mean, duh, you know maps. But there were silver needles placed all over the map with undead energy lingering on the tips where you would hold them. And they have been placed. And Oliver, as you open it and shut, noted there is one on this city, Eleanor, and several others in
Infiltrate
other
the door. Let's
lands.
find the suppliers.
Oh, just shut that door. I probably already did. Timing wise, this was all very fast.
Roll a stealth check.
Okay.
A paladin with stealth? Let's do this.
It's not good. I have a decent dex, but I do have disadvantage.
As a former paladin, it's always fun.
I just help me out, y'all. I need better armor that doesn't do this to me. Okay, that's actually still not the worst because it's a 12 plus 2, so it's a 14. It's not great, but it's not as bad as it can be.
That's
You shut the door and let go of the handle. And as you turn around, he shuts the door and steps out of the lounge
Ciao, baby.
and says, "A drink for the road. Think you do to Joy." And he comes over and hands a bottle of brandy off to Terex.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank
do
you.
be in contact. Come along. And leads you towards the exit and hits a thing, and it lifts up above. A mechanism lifts it, and they climb out of here. And he says, "I just love the mechanics and engineering behind that. Clever people." And they step out, and he lowers it back down and leads you out of this shop. You leave the shop, and he's guiding you back to Faylock Row. Everybody roll a perception check.
okay.
I love those.
Oof.
My
That's,
favorite.
Nat
five.
20.
Someone saw something.
Cool.
Great, because I rolled a nat 1, which
Yeah.
wait, no, Brutus doesn't have a minus to wisdom, so that actually is just a nat 1 and not a 0.
Mine was a. Hang on, perception. Wait, I forgot what.
I haven't rolled a nat 20 in weeks. So I'm like,
Hell yeah.
15 is
Those
my
things,
perception check.
And
Okay.
that is 23 on my end.
Moose. So Tear and Ruby. As everyone else is moving, you are surveying the area, taking in information, just trying to pay attention to your surroundings. You're following him. You feel like you're in the clear here. Everything's going pretty well. And you look, and you do, Moose, Tear looks around, and for a brief moment, locks eyes as you pass a street with a Kenku who is up above a rooftop and looking down. It is night at this point. But you happen to lock eyes with a Kenku, and he's moving quietly along the rooftop in a familiar movement like you remember from Cauldareen. And as you're moving, Ruby, you look over and you can see an Aarakocra catches your eyes and begins walking in the same direction as you in a similar pace, shadowing but keeping a distance. You have locked eyes with the captain of Team 7. And they are
I
moving.
would like to... Oh, sorry, go for it.
And they are moving in sort of a distanced formation. At least two of them you have noted this one, and Tear noted the other. And so currently there are two members of Team 7 quietly sort of tailing or circling your perimeter.
Do they look sinister, or do they look like they're just there to keep an eye in case anything goes awry? When I lock eyes with him, what is the look on his face?
That'll be an insight check.
Okay, that's fine. I would like to know. Okay.
In the meantime, I would like to slow down my pace or speed it, depending, to make sure I'm walking by hiccup.
Okay.
And I want to try and whisper to them as quietly as I can. And I'll say, Team 7 is here. They might be worried. Can you message them and tell them we're okay?
He just kind of gives like a little playful nudge with his shoulder to kind of like play it off, but also take the message. And he just kind of glances towards the Aarakocra, and I would like to send him a message.
And what do you send?
We're fine, Sergeant Featherfuck.
Wait, to the Aarakocra?
Yeah,
or
the Aarakocra.
to the one that Tear recognized was the Kenku up on the roof.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so the
Yeah,
Kenku on
I'm
the
looking
roof.
at the other one.
Okay, thank you. I mean, it would have been
You're good.
hilarious if I sent him that message.
Wrong.
we gotta give someone besides Hiccup the message.
I know.
No, he'll message to the Kenku. We're okay. We can rendezvous to discuss things further.
And you hear whispered back in your mind in
Oh, damn it.
Luna's voice, because they can whisper back when you cast message. And you hear back in Luna's voice, Team 10 got warped to Forge. Can't locate them.
Cool.
Any nearby teams available.
Thank you, Team 7,
Yeah.
for once.
Yep.
We don't need them. Okay.
I rolled a
We're
15.
fine.
We're fine.
I rolled a 15
Okay.
insight check when I had looked over.
Yeah, when you roll that 15, you locked eyes with him for a moment, and he immediately like left your gaze, but he didn't hide, he didn't move, he didn't do anything. He kept walking, and so he made a connection to acknowledge present, and then he stayed in the open, which in your training is his request for assistance if you need it.
Right.
Sort of training. And if you were to, in this instance, if you were to stop and dust your boots off without tying them, you would ask for assistance.
Okay. I don't do so.
Okay. And you keep walking, and you see him kind of glance in a direction, and then he breaks off. He glanced upward just for a split second, and then he moved off of your path, but is remaining a sort of
Right.
distance.
Hmm. I'll make a mental note of that just in case anything does go awry, but so far so good.
Okay.
I'm not going to make any indication I've seen him or anything to anybody else. Just keep walking because I don't want to draw attention to them. I'm going to make a mental note to thank them later, but that's beside the point.
Yeah. Hiccup will give Tear a reassuring wink.
And he'll get you to Faylock Row, and they get you through. And on your way in, you were able to keep just kind of casually glancing back, and here and there you would see Team 7. And now you do note that several of the members are moving about. What you were tracking as a single Kenku was actually the two switching in and out, moving in a quiet but fierce formation to where one was always out of sight. And you caught sort of a switch as they jumped from building to building. You caught a quick shadow of two. And so they are
Nice.
moving very quietly and keeping an eye on you. You get to Faylock Row and again walk through that brick wall. And as you enter through, he leads you through the shops, through the area, and all the way back to the statue with the many doors underneath it. And,
Can I roll a history check again to see if I recognize the statue on our way back?
yeah. At this point, yes, go ahead.
Okay, cool. I just want to see if maybe I can recall something after all of that.
Actually, roll a religion check on that.
Religion, cool. Okay. Religion. What is my religion? Actually, I don't think I've. Oh, okay, it's a +1. Cool. That's a 14. 13 + 1. That's it.
Okay, yeah. That one is. Yes, that one is good now. This is a statue in the likeness of the goddess of trickery herself, Eleanor.
Okay.
As the capital cities are named after the gods of that land or that arcana. And so this is a bust of the goddess of trickery. It's a full statue, sorry. And all the doors that beneath her lead to various places. Very fitting. And he leads you to a door and says, right this way. Might even be a fight still going on if you want to catch one.
Guess we'll have to see how everyone's feeling. I'm sure that was a lot of walking. As fast as it was.
Well, when you message back, we can get you something to take care of that too. And he opens the door and holds it open for you.
Walk back through. Yeah.
I think we're all walking through. I'll look over to him. Thank you.
Oh, but of course.
It takes everything in her power not to roll her eyes. But
Smack a motherfucker over the head.
You all walk through?
Yeah,
please,
Yeah, baby.
I do.
Okay. And so yeah, you all walk through and you are back in the underground fight club arena. And you see there are folks back at it. They are still throwing some fights going on down there, and all sorts of new folks seem to have made their way in and around. And you are back. So where would you like to go from here?
about how much time has passed?
It's
Approximately.
been maybe a few hours, hour or two since you left.
Okay. And Altair doesn't follow us. He shuts the door behind us.
He shuts the door behind you. Yep.
Okay, cool. I'm going to look to my party and kind of very quietly say, somebody send Luna a message, please.
I don't know how to do that.
Do I see her anywhere?
I have to. He's like, hang on, and I'm just gonna look to see if I can spot her.
Look for her first if you can find her.
Mm-hmm.
Make a perception check.
Okay.
Go, Hiccup, go.
Did we not also have a piece of paper
I believe we
Just
do.
like
For
that one.
Jarvis.
I think it's for Jarvis,
Jarvis.
isn't it?
It is for Jarvis, yeah.
We
Yeah.
don't have
So-
one for Luna.
I rolled a 4.
Cool.
You don't.
Let's send a message to Jarvis.
Yeah, you look around and you do not see her.
Let's send a message to Jarvis then, in case he has a way to get in touch with Luna.
Okay. I'll kind of step off to the side. I really don't want like this to be out in the open that I'm writing this message.
I mean, we
For
can
everybody
all
else to
move
see.
someplace and sit discreetly.
Yeah,
For you to do
that
that.
sounds good.
Let's get a table.
Move to a
some
table.
snacks.
Sit around a fountain or some benches.
Are there any
Yeah.
apps? Can we get some apps?
Oh my god.
Yeah, like I would like a
French.
hot pretzel.
I got
Any-
some fries for the table. Would you
Yeah,
guys want
any-
some?
Would you want?
Any
With
fried
some-
fingers?
With
no?
some beer
So-
cheese.
Who is doing what?
Okay, well, I will find the closest table in the corner. It's kind of a discreet, like.
Sure.
I will find the closest table and sit down there. And then kind of take out the paper that I have from Jarvis and write. I don't quite remember the name of the casino. If you could remind me
Of
that we are at the
Where you're at?
casino. Yeah.
they didn't give a.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, they didn't give a name when
Cool.
you got here. You were just led in.
Okay. Great. I'm sure Jarvis and Luna have been communicating at some point though, so
I
I'm
feel
going
like he
to.
has the location, probably.
I feel like he probably has it. I'll just put on there back at casino, safe for now. We'll make our way back. And then at the bottom put unsure of whereabouts of Luna. And kind of scribe that quickly, fold it back up and
Okay, you do. Okay, so you write that out and
Mhm.
then you immediately put it away.
no, I'm gonna like I'm just putting it kind of on my lap. That way it's like not out on the table.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, and then a few moments go by and the ink on your page moves to a call symbol for Cauldareen that said basically it means it means proof, and it's just a simple symbol that if you see it, it means to prove you are who you say you are. And so you would have a way to go about that. You could write your like name. You could write your call symbol with your name is one of the ways you could go about that. You could put specific information down. You could do whatever you need. But that's the call symbol you see is
I think
proof.
I would just since this is something she's been training for all her life, I think she would very much know her own call symbol to call back, and do that right back as soon as that ink changes.
Okay, so you see the call symbol for proof, and then you put your call symbol on the paper.
Yes.
Excellent. Nothing happens.
Cool.
You write your call symbol, and
I'm going to assume that that is verified, and then after making a note, waiting a couple minutes that it has been, and then put it back in my pocket.
okay. And as you fold this up, you put the paper away in your pocket, having signaled that you're safe. You have made a connection to your contact. You have a tattoo to bring back with you for whatever you want to do with it. And you have fulfilled a vast majority of your mission. You have found, at the very least, a way to contact, and you've been to a place that you have seen. You all have bits of information that haven't quite been shared together just yet, but all of that sits right here.
Mhm.
Will they find out what any of it means? Will they share the information with each other? Will there be repercussions for any of the actions they've taken today? Who knows? Find out next time on the Cauldareen Chronicles.
No!
Yes.
Yes.
And then The camera view shifts, and we see a study, very grand and vast. Many books throughout magic and non-historical, all sorts of things on royalty and weapons. We see a desk and someone writing. Pages sprawled all over this desk with incoherent, scattered scratches all about them. And the current page that's being written on in dark red ink, just finished writing. And a half piece of paper, a symbol arises. At a casino, safe, found, a symbol is drawn, call signal proof. Ruby, leader of Team 10. And a smile and a maniacal laugh is heard as he holds his hands to his face and cannot contain it as he laughs so loudly. And behind him, he looks at the map of Celeste with 12 silver needles scattered across it, and one placed in Eleanor, and 11 other places. Standing up, he walks over with the letter in hand and steps over a body. And as he rolls up the scroll, he places a signature on it with a seal. And within this seal, the camera shows Jarvis.
I'm gonna murder everyone.
And that's where we end today.